first thing, preliminaries, I want to make sure that this equals set up so that I can do my transformations. One of the things I've talked about is I always like to move that 2 over to the other side. So I'm going to move that 2 over, and while moving that 2 over, I notice I have a horizontal compression and a horizontal translation. And this is where that special note that we wrote the other day, where I joked about you should put it into your reminders at 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. every night on your phone. Here it showed up, okay? This is not in factored form. So we have to take the 3 and factor it out. That will leave an x plus 1, and of course, I'll move that 2 over to the other side. So now when I'm labeling things that I see here, that's outside, that's a vertical reflection. Algebraically, that's going to multiply my y value by -1. X's are liars. This is a horizontal compression, not a horizontal stretch. We're going to multiply our x by 1/3. Horizontal translation, again, X's are liars. This is going to go 1 to the left, not 1 to the right. And finally, a vertical translation, 2 up. So our preliminaries is just making sure our equation is in the form where we can see all of the transformations, right? Maybe you make a big note that that has to be in factored form. The more times you see it, the more times you help remind yourself that that's something you're going to check for. Now on a square root graph, okay, what they're going to check, for sure we need to look at the point 0, 0. We have 1, 1, 4, 2. I would probably choose this point, 9, 3. Can you see why I'd want to choose 9, 3 over 4, 2 and 1, 1? Because I'm multiplying my x values by 1/3. Just makes a nicer point. If you do more points, it is perfectly fine. Okay? You must, though, have the key point of 0, 0, because that's your starting point for a graph. On an exam, they're going to be, if you have 2 points labeled, you are able to show all 4 of these things. Okay? This would be a 4-mark exam question. They give you 1 mark for showing each of these. And they only look at your graph, really, and look if the point is correct. And if they can see that you've done a vertical reflection, they give you 1 mark for that, and so on. So what we're going to do as far as setting this up, remember we always did our stretches and compressions first. That's the first arrow, then translation second. So above this first arrow, I can write out that I need to multiply my x by 1/3, then my y by -1. Multiplication comes before add. So if I would do that, this will become 0, this becomes 3, multiply by -1, this stays 0, and this becomes negative. Then I need to go 1 to the left, and 2 up. 1 to the left will go -1 and +2, and 2 up, +2, and -1. I wanted to make those in green. On my graph, -1, 2 is right there. And 2, negative, no, that's not -1, 2. -1, 2 This is really struggling, isn't it? I want it to end there. Maybe if I just let go. Okay, perfect. So negative 1 comma 2 would be right there, and 2, negative 1. We got 2, negative 1 would be right there. I need to put an arrowhead on the end of my graph. I might make a special note that this point 0, 0 is really struggling to me. This point 0, 0 became my starting point there. Another thing we can do at the end is we can go through just the wording. You see a vertical reflection. Is it going down now? Yes. Can you see a horizontal compression? Seems like it's been pressed towards the y-axis. Yes. Moved 1 to the left. Appears to have done that. 2 up. So generally, does the feel of the graph match the words that we wrote or the abbreviations? Yes. So that's another thing that we can do as a check at the end. Okay, questions for practice? Oh, I was getting ahead because I did exactly what students want to do. They want to go on to the next question. But then I reread the question and noticed it wanted the domain and range of the green graph. So let's do that. Domain are our x values. My smallest x value is -1, and it goes bigger than that forever. So I can write that x has to be bigger than or equal to -1. Then my range, my y values, my biggest y value is +2, and it goes down forever. So y is less than or equal to 2. Circle questions 8 and 10.